going on, guys? I got another Saber reveal for you today. This is the KR Ahsoka set. This is obviously the flat version. I'm not going to get into the whether it's Rebels or Clone Wars because honestly I don't ever watch or pay attention to that side of the Star Wars universe, and so I'm not going to speak about something I don't know that much about. But I know this is Ahsoka's hilt. I know that this is I guess this is like a very, very mini spoiler. I know when she fights Darth Vader that these are the hilts she uses. I don't know if she fights him multiple times. Again, I don't know. But this was a pretty cool install. This was obviously doing both the Shoto and I call it the Master hilt. I know there's another word for it, but I'm going to say the Shoto and the Master. This is a cool install. It was fun, and the chassis was really, really cool and really well organized. And really well designed by Rick of Goth 3D Designs. I made a post about his work on the MK1 chassis, the Roman MK1, and this was basically on par with that, with how just like well organized and well put together it was. Rick does really awesome work, so like really it's cool to see what he does. But anyways, yeah, so the customer decided to go with a nano biscotti in both hilts. I know a lot of people go a nano and then a prism, or a prism then a crystal. But instead of doing that, we decided to go with crystal reveals in both of these, and so I think that's where the customer wanted to focus their attention. And so, like I said, we have a nano and a nano, both with 3 Ahsoka sound fonts. Actually, there's 2 Ahsoka sound fonts, and then there's a third bank with Ahsoka boots, and I believe it's the sound font next door, which is a very Ahsoka sounding font, which I think the customer will really like. So so let's get into, I will start with the Shoto. Try and stick around to the end if you're the customer, because there are some disclaimers about how to take these apart properly and care for them, because they are slightly complex in terms of changing sound fonts and keeping everything organized the way it should be. So I said, we'll start with the Shoto. I will boot it up. So kill key right here. Take that out.
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
The customer did decide to go with 20mm flat speakers, which are a little bit less aggressive in terms of the sound. For the Shoto hilt, you do have a spare panel, which can go on the back here, which can go right there. And this does have venting for sound, but I have that off for now because I just like the way this one looked. So let's get that booted up and then turned on. So this one's very quiet because it really is sealed in there. And the blade plug, it has a little bit of shine through here and here, but then you can't see through the blade plug itself. But so it's really cool. Let me get a blade in here. So let me turn this off, and then I'll go through the sound fonts. So here, do this. I'm using a Torx bit. I'm using a Torx bit, but that is not. This is an Allen key. I just didn't have the right size Allen, and the Torx fits almost the exact same. So unscrew that one. You do have it's a solid blade plug. You can see your tri-LED in there. The customer decided to go with a white LED because that's what they wanted. So that's all that really matters. And so we have, again, a dual white main blade and then a white flash on clash. Let me get this. Let me just do this here. I'm going to loosen this a little bit. And then, there we go. That is a little bit of a tight fit. This is the first time putting a blade in, but it's okay. Then get that there. I will say that I did just notice that when you are putting the blade in, be careful of the button that you have here. You don't want to slide up and snap it. So turn that on. So looks pretty good. I'll scroll to the next font. Actually, no, I'll do the font reveals on the bigger Saber because you can hear them better. Because I did mirror the fonts on both of them. So let me get this the blade out here. I should have done everything on the bigger hilt, but, you know, wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, so that is a little bit tight, but that's okay. That's just how it is. Get this here. No. You know, it helps if you put the blade plug back in. Okay, so I'm going to move the master out of the way. Did not mean to do that. So, if you are taking this saber apart, kill key in, it is a twist kill key, so...
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
So make sure it is
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
not like that. Make sure it's off. So in order to take the saber apart, you want to start with here. Any of these three, you want to take them all out. This black nub unscrews. There. And then you want to take your Allen key. There. This slides off of here. And then you can take that cover off. However, if you want, so this is your internals, and I will get to the crystal reveal in a second. If you want to get to your SD card, you have to hold this here, not on the speaker, flip it over, and it takes a little bit of, there we go. So you want to undo, there's like a collar around the recharge port. That comes out. When you're doing it and when you're putting it on, make sure that the recharge port is not turning, or else you will snap the wires, and we don't want to deal with that. So, recharge port is now free, and what you want to do is you want to basically lift up from both sides. Start here, and then you can kind of grab anywhere in here and lift up. And so now you can move the chassis. You have to notice, again, this is why I said it's a little bit complex. There's the wires running through here for your switch and your LED. There is a pinch point right along here. So you want to make sure those wires are out of there. And then you can basically flip it over and you have your board that you can get to and go in and change what you have to change. And again, put it back together. Watch all those pinch points and drop back in. But that's where you can just pop out your SD card, make any changes you want to, and then put them back in. If you have any questions about changing sound fonts, you can always go on to my YouTube page where you're watching this video. And I do have tutorials on the Nano Biscotti, the Prism, and the Crystal Focus on how to change fonts. That is for a Mac, and then I know JB of RGV Sabers has ones for PC, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, once I get that collar in, I just tighten it in.
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
Make sure that this doesn't move much. I can actually leave that the way it is. And so now, because this is a crystal reveal, if you turn on the Saber, you have both your LED and your crystal, which will mimic your main LED, which is pretty cool. And you can hear now it's much louder. So let me get this one put back together because we do have another whole Saber to get to, which is a different process for, or a slightly different process for taking the chassis out. So we want to get to that as well here. Get that there, put that in there. There. I just do thumb tight on these. They do not need to be over tightened. And then I'm going to put this back in. So that Shoto, done. Toss that to the side over here. And take out the master hilt, or again, whatever it is actually supposed to be called. I'm going to get through taking it apart first. So I'm going to take it apart very similar to start. You take off nub here, which is the exact same nub as the other one. You take off this screw around the recharge port. It's the threading are they're opposite, which means that when you tighten this, it actually is holding the recharge port in place and tightening up against itself. But when you're loosening, it's also doing the same thing. So you just want to be careful, make sure the recharge port is not moving. So you go there, here, and of course it's a different sized Allen key. Let me make sure that this is visible. Yeah, it is. So, different size Allen key. Pop that out of there. So I'll take that out of there. We have these two right here. And now, so the difference is that the recharge port is on this side, which is fine, but you have to make sure that it's actually, so it is threaded in here as well. It doesn't just slide out. And so my recommendation is, so you pop this side, and there should be enough slack on the recharge port to pull it. And this is why I'm not the biggest fan of this design, because I was sitting here for a few minutes before the video just thinking about how the best way, there we go. So there we go, now it's free, and now all you have to do is turn this to the side. You don't want to try and unscrew this, you don't want to try and pull it out too much, because the recharge port wires are fed through here and then over under here under a piece, because this piece is being held in here and here. Like I said, it's a strange design. I'm not the biggest fan of this section's design, but this was probably the easiest way to make it, so I understand. And then very similar as beforehand, you just want to pull up from over here. Again, watching those pinch points and start little by little. And now the difference is that because this piece is being held in here and here, you basically have to pull up on the chassis, and I pull it, again, I make sure wires are cleared here, and I pull this way just slightly. There we go. You don't want to rip any more than that, just enough for it to be loose, because or else you could pull and pop your recharge port wires. And then again, you can twist and flip, have SD card access. So I'm going to put that back. Oh, and on both hills, I did layer the inside with electric tape just to stop any possible shorts. And then let's start here. Make sure these are clear. So those are clear up here, as you can see. And now, again, another thing to keep in mind is that the wires have to be fed for the recharge port around this block and under this nub, which they should do automatically, but again, double check, make sure. And then once they do, which they are, you can push this all back in there. Boom. Up, see, that's exactly what I don't want to do. Is there was a pinch point here where the wire was just caught, so again, make sure it's clear. And it's in nice and pretty. So, because I don't feel like taking this apart again, I'm going to pop the recharge port.
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
And show this right here. Again, crystal reveal, LED, looks awesome. Again, it's going to mimic your main blade. If you really want to take this cover off to get to the crystal and leave it out, I still think that it's best to have it just open like this. I really do. Again, that's the one part of this design I'm not a fan of. If not, you can unthread this whole piece from the recharge port this way. So you want to go counterclockwise, but you also want to make sure that you're not twisting the recharge port. If you do and you break wires, it will have to be sent back for repair, obviously, and none of us want to have to do that because that's just no fun for anyone. So please, if you are doing that, please be careful, take your time, and make sure the recharge port isn't twisting because, like I said, it's sensitive, and it's the one main flaw in this design. And after that, you can get this back in here. I will put that there. This here, here, here. I'm going to take out a frame just to put it back together the way it should go. Okay, nothing's pinched, and we should be good to go. So, small screw. It is in frame, yeah. So in terms of getting to the chassis, this is definitely one of the more complicated Sabers I've worked on, but it's very well designed considering it's a flat, it's a flat hilt. Yeah. So it's on there. I'll twist that in there. Good to go. And we are golden. So.
My name is Ahsoka Tano.
And same deal here, where it's So this one is definitely louder. Again, it is still a 20mm speaker, which is tough, but it has kind of all this venting in here that I can hear from, so. So that's font number 1.
I am no Jedi.
You hold for 2 beeps. And press and hold to turn off. And then I will show you mute mode as you press for 1 beep. And now you can see right there, it is illuminated. And so that is a mute mode. Press and hold to turn off. And press and hold 2 beeps for your final font.
This is where the fun begins.
So this one is the next door font. I believe that's what it's called. I will double check that. But it kind of has that same not mechanical, I can't even think of the word, sound that goes to it that really makes the Saber stand out. So same idea for this. Unscrew, pop in, blade. I'm gonna loosen it a little bit more. Again, this one is definitely tight, but you know, and then take that out. Blade plug back in. And we are good to go. So I know it's a little bit of a longer video. Having 2 Sabers to reveal is usually a little bit tougher. But like I said, these are a pretty cool set of hilts. I wasn't a fan. When I got them, I was still kind of like, eh. But after kind of seeing them and messing with them, they're pretty cool. So, like I said, good job by KR for the design. They really did awesome. And then good job by Darth Rio for the chassis, because again, it was a pretty straightforward install. Made it easy, very nice to do. So, like I said, for the customer, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy them. Again, be careful with taking those apart. I know it's kind of a pain, but you know, it is what it is in terms of design. We can only do so much. But like I said, overall, these are like I said, really cool hilts, and I hope you love them. All right, thanks. Talk to you guys later.